So yes, you can be disciplined in the workplace by your employer. So if you've done something that perhaps is outside of policies or is not up to par in terms of performance, your employer does have that discretion to discipline you. However, that discretion is not unlimited, right? So it has to be proportional to the alleged misconduct, for instance. So if you don't agree, you should point out specifically what you don't agree with. So is it a standard where you expected to do something that perhaps was unreasonable? Is it something where you're lacking training and you should have been trained on something? Is it a miscommunication perhaps? Whatever it is specifically, you should point it out and just be very clear in terms of why you don't agree with the discipline. If you're not automatically given an opportunity to explain, you should ask for an opportunity to respond so that you can have your objection on the record. However, when you respond, you want to make sure that you're not argumentative. You should be calm. You should just try to get your side of the story on the record, but taking into account that you don't want to be labeled as a bad apple. So your demeanor and the way that you respond, it's very important that you're still very professional in doing that. It's just important to note that when you're being disciplined, all of those things could be put into your file, and that could be the case that the employer is progressively building to terminate you, perhaps if your behavior doesn't change. So it's just important that as that case is being built by the employer, that's in the case where maybe there's several instances, that if you do have an objection that you stated, so that further down the road, if you happen to get to the point of litigation or legal action, you would have also built your supporting case, which has your side of the story on the books as well. So an employer has a range of discretion in terms of the discipline that they can impose, and that could range from maybe a written warning, a verbal warning, to performance improvement plans, and depending on the severity, even to the point of an unpaid suspension. However, the discipline has to be proportional to the behavior, the misconduct, whatever it is, as well as if it's something where it's going to be an unpaid suspension, you have to be careful in terms of what was agreed to at the beginning of the relationship. So that discretion that an employer has is kind of guided by what agreements about discipline were made at the beginning of the employment relationship.